The stars were quiet that night. The Earth no longer looked like the bright blue world it once was. Half of it lay in ashes. Cities turned into dark scars on the surface. But in the shadows, something was moving. Humanity was not gone. They were waiting. It had been 20 years since the invasion. The Xylar Dominion, a powerful alien empire, had come without warning. They arrived in huge ships that covered the skies, destroying every defense system in ours. The humans fought back but were crushed. The survivors were forced underground or taken as slaves to distant worlds. The aliens believed the human spirit was broken. They were wrong. In a small bunker under the ruins of New York City, a group of humans sat around a dim blue light. Their faces were thin, their clothes torn, but their eyes were full of fire. At the center sat Commander Aiden Cross, a former space pilot who once fought in Earth's defense fleet. His voice was low, but every word carried power. "Tomorrow we strike back," he said. "Not for revenge, but for survival." Around him were 12 others, engineers, medics, and fighters who had spent years hiding from the alien patrols. They had found something weeks ago, a piece of alien tech that could change everything. Aiden placed the small black device on the metal table. It hummed softly like a heartbeat. "This," Aiden said, "is their communication key. With it, we can hijack their network. If we send the right signal, we can turn their own machines against them." The others stared, shocked. No human had ever hacked Xylar tech before. It was said to be alive, connected to the aliens' minds through strange energy. But Aiden had a plan. He had spent years studying their signals, recording every sound, every pulse. He believed he could break through. Before anyone could speak, the ground shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. An alarm blared. Aiden grabbed his rifle and ran to the surface tunnel. Through the narrow gap in the concrete, he saw a light in the sky. Not sunlight. It was red. "Alien drones, hundreds of them, scanning the ruins. They've found us," whispered one of the rebels. Aiden's voice stayed calm. "Then we move now." The group packed the device and their weapons. They knew this might be their last night on Earth. The exit tunnel led them to the surface, where the wind carried the smell of burnt metal. The city above was silent except for the hum of alien machines. Tall silver towers built by the Xylar now stood where human monuments once were. As they crossed a destroyed street, a drone hovered overhead. It scanned the ground with a sharp blue beam. Aiden signaled for silence. They froze under a broken bridge, hearts pounding. The drone moved closer. Its red eye blinked. Then, from the shadows, one of the rebels, a young girl named Mara, threw a small EMP grenade. The drone exploded in a flash of blue light. The group ran. Sirens echoed through the ruins. Aiden knew they had only minutes. They reached an old subway station where a rusted metal door hid their last hope, a ship. It wasn't big, just a small transport craft the rebels had rebuilt from scraps. Its name was painted on the side, Phoenix. A fitting name for what they planned. Aiden entered the cockpit. "Start the engines," he ordered. "We're going to orbit." The ship roared to life, shaking dust from the old tunnel walls. As it launched into the sky, explosions followed. Alien fighters appeared behind them, firing beams of red energy. The Phoenix weaved between the shots, engines screaming. Aiden's hands moved fast, his mind calm. He had done this before. They broke through the clouds, and for the first time in years, the humans saw the stars again. The view was breathtaking. Behind them, Earth burned like a dying ember. Ahead, the vast darkness of space waited. And somewhere out there, the Xylar command ship orbited. The heart of the alien power. Aiden looked at the device on the dashboard. It pulsed brighter now, reacting to something. Maybe it was near its source. Maybe it was leading them straight to the enemy. Either way, there was no turning back. "Hold steady," Aiden said. "Tonight, we remind the galaxy who humans are." The stars reflected in his eyes as the Phoenix disappeared into the blackness, chased by alien fire. Humanity was not done. The rebellion had begun. The Phoenix drifted through space, silent except for the steady hum of its engines. Below them, Earth was just a fading blue shadow. The stars looked peaceful, but everyone inside the ship knew death could come any second. Alien radar could pick them up at any moment. Aiden Cross sat in the pilot's chair, eyes locked on the glowing screen. The small alien device lay on the console, pulsing like a heartbeat. Its glow changed color every few seconds, blue to green to white, as if it was alive. "How far until we reach their command ship?" Mara asked, leaning over his shoulder. Aiden didn't look up. "Not far. The signal is pulling us in. It's like it knows where it came from." Mara frowned. "You think it's safe to trust it?" Aiden smiled, but it was a tired smile. "Nothing out here is safe, but it's our only chance." Behind them, the rest of the rebels worked in silence. Dr. Voss, the team scientist, was checking the energy readings. His face was pale from lack of sleep. "Commander," he said, "this thing, it's not just a transmitter. It's reacting to us, to human DNA." Everyone turned toward him. "What do you mean?" Aiden asked. "It's like it's learning from us," Voss explained. "When you touched it earlier, it began to sync with your heartbeat. I think it's building a link between your mind and their network." Oh. The ship trembled. A sharp alarm filled the cockpit. Mara rushed to the sensor screen. Multiple contacts approaching fast. 3 Xylar patrol ships, Vector 091. Aiden's hands moved quickly on the controls. "Brace yourselves." The Phoenix shot forward, engines burning bright. Blue streaks of plasma passed by the window as the alien ships opened fire. The human ship twisted and rolled between the blasts. One beam grazed the wing, shaking the cabin violently. "They've locked on," Mara shouted. "Not for long," Aiden replied. He flipped a switch, releasing a cloud of reflective metal shards behind them. The alien sensors went blind for a few seconds. It was enough time for the Phoenix to dive into a nearby asteroid field. Rocks the size of cities floated in the darkness. The ship darted between them, engines roaring. The Xylar ships followed, firing wildly. A large asteroid cracked apart from a direct hit, spinning chunks of glowing stone in every direction. "Hang on," Aiden yelled. He pulled the ship down, scraping past a massive rock. The hull screamed under pressure. Inside the cockpit, the alien device suddenly glowed bright red. A strange sound filled the air, like whispers inside their heads. Mara covered her ears. "What is that?" Dr. Voss stared at the device. It's talking to something out there. The command ship must be close." Through the window, Aiden saw a light ahead far larger than any star. It was the Xylar flagship, a black fortress floating in orbit above a red planet. It was miles long, covered in glowing lines that pulsed like veins. Even from a distance, it looked alive. "That's it," Aiden said quietly. "The heart of the Dominion." The Phoenix floated behind one of the larger asteroids, hiding from the alien sensors. Aiden turned to his team. "We can't fight them head-on. But if we can connect the device to their network, maybe we can turn their own defense grid against them." Dr. Voss nodded. "If we get close enough, I can boost the signal. It might cause chaos across their systems, but we'll have only one chance." Aiden looked at the faces around him. They were tired, scared, but determined. Humanity had lost everything, yet here they were, ready to fight back against an empire. He placed his hand on the device. It pulsed softly under his fingers. In that moment, Aiden felt something strange, a faint image in his mind. He saw flashes of alien structures, strange codes, and then a voice. It wasn't human. It was cold and sharp. "You should not exist," the voice said inside his head. Aiden's eyes opened wide. He pulled his hand away. "It knows we're here."
Ow.
The ship's alarm screamed again. On the screen, the Xylar ships were changing course. They were coming straight for them. Mara grabbed her weapon. "What do we do?" Aiden stood up, his face calm. "We finish what we started. Prepare for boarding. If we can get inside that command ship, we can end this." The others exchanged looks of fear and courage. The rebellion had no army, no fleet, only one small ship and a spark of human will. But sometimes, a single spark was enough to light a fire across the stars. The Phoenix turned toward the massive alien fortress. Its engines flared bright blue. Behind them, explosions lit up the asteroid field. Ahead, the Xylar flagship loomed like a sleeping god, Aiden whispered. For Earth. The Phoenix dove straight into the dark, heading for the enemy heart. The Phoenix moved like a ghost through the darkness. In front of it, the Xylar flagship grew larger and larger, filling the screen until it looked like a floating city made of black glass. Blue energy veins ran across its surface, pulsing in rhythm like a heartbeat. It wasn't just a ship. It was alive. Aiden sat in the cockpit, eyes locked on the view. Approach Vector 37, he ordered. Keep power low. We don't want their sensors picking us up. Mara adjusted the controls, while Dr. Voss watched the device glowing on the console. The light was steady now, soft and white, almost calm. It's guiding us in, Voss said. It's connecting to their systems. The others in the back checked their weapons. Old human rifles patched together from parts, barely working, but they were all they had. No one spoke. Everyone knew what this mission meant. If they failed, humanity's last chance would vanish into space. Aiden looked at the screen again. There, he said, pointing to a small hangar door at the bottom of the massive ship. We'll slip in through the maintenance bay. They won't expect anyone crazy enough to try that. Mara gave a faint smile. Crazy fits us perfectly. The Phoenix drifted closer, silent as a shadow. The hangar door opened just enough to let out a patrol drone. Aiden seized the moment. Now. The ship darted forward and slid inside before the doors sealed shut. The hangar was dark, full of alien machines and long cables that moved like snakes. They landed behind a stack of crates. The engines cut off. Silence returned. All right, Aiden whispered. Masks on. No chatter, unless it's life or death. They stepped out of the ship. The air smelled like burnt metal. The walls glowed faintly with blue light, and strange symbols ran across the floor. Everything around them felt wrong, too smooth, too alive. Dr. Voss carried the device in a small case. It pulsed brighter as they moved deeper into the corridors. It's reacting to the ship, he said. It's like it's calling to its source. They reached a wide hall filled with floating orbs that watched everything with red eyes. Aiden held up his hand, motioning the team to stop. The orbs turned away, continuing their patrol. They slipped through a side door and entered what looked like a control chamber. Huge screens covered the walls, displaying alien symbols. In the center, a tall structure stood, glowing with energy. It looked almost like a tree made of light, with branches reaching out into the air. Mara stared at it in awe. Is that their core? Voss nodded slowly. I think so. This is where they control their ships, their drones, maybe even their soldiers. Aiden stepped forward. Then this is where we end it. Voss placed the device at the base of the glowing structure. It fit perfectly, as if it had been made for that spot. The lights in the room flickered. The floor trembled. The alien ship seemed to groan like a living creature in pain. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the room, not from speakers, but inside their heads. You do not belong here. The lights turned red. The air vibrated with a deep hum. Out of the shadows, a figure appeared. It was tall, thin, and made of silver armor that flowed like liquid. Its eyes glowed white. Aiden raised his weapon. Don't move. The creature tilted its head. Human defiance. You survived longer than predicted. Aiden's voice was steady. We're not done surviving, he fired. The shot hit the alien's chest, but the energy dissolved before it could do damage. The creature raised its arm, and a wave of force threw the humans backward. Mara hit the wall, gasping for air. Sparks flew from her weapon. The alien stepped closer, reaching for the device. Dr. Voss shouted, It's sinking. Don't let it touch it. Aiden pushed himself up, blood on his lip. He grabbed a plasma charge from his belt and hurled it at the alien. The explosion threw fire across the room. The creature screamed, its voice echoing like metal tearing apart. The lights flickered again. The ship shook violently. Somewhere deep inside, alarms blared. Mara pulled Aiden up. You just woke the whole fleet. Voss stared at the device. The signal is spreading. It's in their network now. Aiden looked at the screens. Alien symbols were turning into human letters, glitching and breaking apart. The control systems were failing. The alien figure was still alive, half its body melting into liquid metal. Its voice came again, full of rage. You cannot stop the Dominion. You are dust in the stars. Adon stepped forward. Then let the stars remember our dust. He slammed his hand on the control panel. The lights exploded in a storm of blue energy. The ship roared, engines flaring as systems collapsed. The team ran back toward the hangar as the walls cracked open. The Phoenix waited, engines already hot. They jumped inside, doors slamming shut just as fire filled the corridor behind them. The ship launched out of the hangar, chased by explosions. The massive flagship began to break apart, flames spreading across its hull. But Aiden could see something on the radar, hundreds of smaller ships waking up. All turning toward them, Mara whispered. We hurt them, but they're still coming. Aiden stared into the black sky ahead. Then we make them chase us. We lead them into the trap. The Phoenix vanished into the stars, a single spark running from a storm. Humanity had struck the first blow. But the war had only just begun. The Phoenix raced through the endless dark, chased by a swarm of alien ships. Blinding red lights cut across the stars as plasma fire streaked past them. Every hit came closer than the last. Inside the ship, alarms screamed and metal panels shook loose. Shields are gone, Mara shouted. We can't take another hit. Aiden gripped the controls tighter. Hold steady. We just need to reach the edge of the system. Dr. Voss looked at the radar. We won't make it. There are too many. Before Aiden could answer, the alien device on the dashboard began to glow, again this time brighter than ever. A strange sound filled the cockpit, like a voice whispering through broken radio waves. The words were unclear, but one message repeated again and again. Follow the signal, ... follow. The ghost, ... Aiden's eyes narrowed. It's giving us coordinates. To what? A trap? Or a miracle? Aiden said quietly. He typed the new course into the system. The Phoenix turned sharply, engines flaring. Behind them, the alien ships followed like a swarm of predators. The ship entered a dark region of space, where stars disappeared behind thick dust clouds. Strange energy readings appeared on the scanners. The air in the cabin grew cold, Dr. Voss whispered. This area doesn't exist on any map. It's like something erased it. Minutes passed, like hours. Then, through the haze, a shape appeared, massive, silent, and ancient. It wasn't alien. It was human, Mara gasped. That's impossible. Before them floated a colossal station, half buried in the dark cloud. Its surface was covered in rust and ice. But the old symbol on its hull was clear, the emblem of the United Earth Defense. Fleet? Aiden's voice dropped to a whisper. The Arc of Horizon. It was lost during the first invasion. Voss stared in disbelief. That ship disappeared 20 years ago. No one ever found it. The alien fleet slowed down, their sensors confused by the strange energy field around the station. Aiden guided the Phoenix toward the giant airlock. Let's find out what the ghosts left behind. The ship slid inside. The doors closed behind them, sealing out the darkness. The lights flickered weakly as the Phoenix landed. When the crew stepped out, they saw long, silent corridors filled with floating dust and old banners of Earth's flag. Everything was frozen in time. This place is dead, Mara said softly. Maybe not, Voss replied. The alien device pulsed again, brighter than before. Something here is still alive. They followed the signal through twisting halls until they reached a large chamber. In the center stood a glowing pillar connected to hundreds of dark screens. Inside the pillar floated a holographic form, a woman made of light. Her voice echoed gently. Human presence detected. Identification required. Aiden stepped forward. Commander Aiden Cross, Earth Resistance. The hologram blinked. Identity confirmed. You are the first to return. Mara stared in shock. Who are you? I am Eve, the hologram said. Earth's virtual entity. Guardian of Project Dawn. Dr. Voss's hands trembled. Project Dawn. I've heard whispers about it. It was supposed to be our last defense against the Xyler. Eve's eyes glowed brighter. Correct. Project Dawn was a human-designed intelligence, meant to counter the Dominion network. But before activation, the Xyler attacked. My creators locked me away to keep me safe. Aiden stepped closer. We need your help, Eve. The aliens have enslaved our worlds. They think humanity is finished, but we're not. We struck their flagship. We can fight back if we have something strong enough to face them. Eve looked at the alien device in his hand. You carry a piece of their mind. With my systems and your courage, we may have a chance. Suddenly the walls shook. The Phoenix's warning siren echoed through the station. Mara yelled, They found us! The aliens are outside. Eve turned to Aiden. There is no time. I can merge my system with the device. But once I do, I cannot separate. It will awaken the network across both species, human and Xyler. Voss hesitated. That could destroy you. Maybe all of us. Aiden looked at the hologram. Do it, Eve smiled faintly. Spoken like a human. Light filled the room as she reached out toward the device. The two energies connected, blue human code and red alien symbols twisting together like fire and ice. The entire station began to shake. Outside, the alien fleet suddenly stopped firing. Their ships drifted, confused. Some turned on each other, weapons firing wildly inside. The Phoenix powered up on its own. Systems came alive. The ship's screens now showed a new symbol of fusion of the human and Xyler. Emblems. Evie's voice echoed through the ship's speakers. Connection complete. The Dominion network is in chaos. You have a short window to strike. Aiden grabbed the controls. Then, let's make history. The Phoenix blasted out of the hangar, engines blazing blue and white. Behind them, the alien ships were tearing each other apart, for the first time in decades. The humans had hope. The Phoenix flew through the broken remains of the alien fleet. Around them, fire and debris floated in the void. The Xyler ships were turning on one another, their systems collapsing under the virus EV had spread. The rebellion had begun not on the ground, but in the heart of space itself. Inside the cockpit, the crew watched in silence. No one spoke for a long time. Then Mara let out a shaky laugh. We actually did it. We broke them. Dr. Voss smiled for the first time in years. EV's merge worked. Their network is falling apart. Evie's soft voice came through the speakers. Do not celebrate yet. The Dominion will not die easily. Their prime mind still controls most of their forces. If we do not destroy it soon, it will rebuild the entire network. Aiden's eyes hardened. Then we go after it before it wakes up. Eve's image appeared as a faint blue light on the ship's dashboard. The prime mind is located in the Vega cluster. That is where the core of the Xyler Empire beats. But you cannot face it alone. You must unite the remaining humans scattered across the stars. Mara turned from her console. Unite them. We barely survived ourselves. Aiden looked at her. Maybe. But if they see what we did here, they'll believe it's possible. Eve's voice grew calm. Then I will help you send the signal. Moments later, the Phoenix's communication systems came alive. Across deep space, hidden human outposts and rebel cells received the message. Aiden's voice echoed across hundreds of worlds. This is Commander Aiden Cross, of the Earth Resistance. The Dominion bleeds. We have struck their fleet and lived. This is our time. Rise now, wherever you are. Humanity fights again. For a moment, there was only static. Then replies began to pour in broken, emotional, full of life. This is the Titan colony. We're with you. Resistance Base Echo 9, ready to move. Old Earth Marines reporting in. Let's finish this. Mara's eyes shone. They're answering, Dr. Voss whispered. After all these years, we're not alone. Eve's lights flickered brighter. Hundreds of ships are responding. Your message spread faster than expected. The humans are rising, Aiden smiled faintly. Then it's time to bring the war to them. The Phoenix joined with other small ships that appeared one by one, forming a growing fleet. Most were damaged, old, or stolen from the enemy, but they were human ships, flying under one purpose. As they approached the edge of the Vega cluster, the stars around them shifted. Massive alien structures floated in the distance, fortresses shaped like claws, glowing with red light. The Prime Mind waited inside one of them, its presence spreading across space like a storm. Mara's hand shook as she looked at the scanners. There must be thousands of them. Eve's tone was calm, but urgent. Their numbers are meaningless if their connection remains broken. We will attack their neural relay first. Once it's destroyed, their fleet will lose coordination. Aiden nodded. We hit them fast and hard. One strike at the core. No hesitation. The rebel ships formed a rough formation. Aiden's voice came over the comms. For every world they burned, for every life they stole, this is for Earth, engines roared. The human fleet charged forward. Alien ships scrambled to respond, but their patterns were chaotic. Plasma beams and explosions lit up the darkness. The Phoenix weaved through the chaos, firing burst after burst, direct hit on their relay. Mara shouted, "Their network is collapsing." Dr. Voss monitored Eve's readings. Signals spread complete. The Prime Mind is exposed. But just as the tide seemed to turn, a massive shadow appeared behind the alien lines. It wasn't like any ship they had seen before. It was larger than a moon, glowing with crimson energy. EVE's voice dropped low. That is it. The Prime Mind. The alien Colossus released a beam of light that cut through several human ships at once. The explosion lit up the void. Mara cried out, "We can't fight that." Aiden's face stayed cold. "We're not fighting it. We're ending it." He turned to Eve. "Can you link us directly to its core?" "Yes," she said softly. "But it will burn through your ship. You won't survive." Aiden's jaw tightened. "Doesn't matter. If we end this, humanity lives." Mara grabbed his arm. "No, there has to be another way." He looked at her, eyes steady. "There's always another way, but sometimes someone has to make sure it works." Eve's voice was quiet, almost human. "You are brave, Commander." Aiden smiled faintly. "No, just human." The Phoenix turned toward the glowing Colossus. Engines screamed, lights flashing white as it pushed beyond safe limits. Behind them, hundreds of human ships followed. The final battle was coming, as the Phoenix flew straight toward the Prime Mind. Eve's voice whispered one last message through every human ship. "For centuries, they called you fragile. They said humans break easily. Let the stars remember they were wrong." The fleet roared as one, firing everything they had. The darkness of space became fire and light. Humanity was no longer hiding. Humanity was fighting back. The Phoenix soared through the burning stars. All around, the great battle raged. Human ships clashed with alien warcraft, turning the dark of space into fire and smoke. The Prime Mind's massive fortress glowed red like a beating heart, sending waves of energy that shook even distant planets. Inside the Phoenix, alarms screamed. Every system was failing. The floor trembled, sparks burst from the ceiling, and the ship's hull glowed from heat. But Aiden Cross didn't slow down. His eyes were fixed on the target ahead. "Hold her steady," he shouted over the noise. Mara struggled to keep control. "Engines are dying. One more hit, and we're done." Dr. Voss yelled from the back, "The energy field is too strong. We can't get close without burning up." Evie's calm voice echoed through the chaos. "I can open a path through their shield, but it will drain my core completely." Aiden took a deep breath. "Do it." "Once I begin," Eve warned, "there will be no return." Aiden looked around at his team. The faces of the last human crew, tired, scared, but full of courage. He smiled faintly. "Then this is the right time." A brilliant white glow filled the cockpit as Eve pushed her power into the alien barrier. The red wall of energy flickered, cracked, and finally split open. The Phoenix dove through, flames trailing behind it. Inside the fortress, the Prime Mind waited. It wasn't a creature. It was a living storm of metal and light, its body made of shifting patterns, its voice echoing across every frequency. "You are a disease," it said. "Human persistence is chaos. You will be erased." Aiden stared at the glowing core. "Maybe, but we're the kind of disease that survives." He slammed the throttle forward. The Phoenix flew straight toward the center of the fortress. Eve spoke quietly, almost gently. "Commander, I can end this, but it requires merging my code with the Prime Mind's network. Once I do, I will not exist as I am." Mara shouted, "No, there must be another way." Aiden shook his head. "There isn't, Eve. Can you copy yourself into our system before the merge?" "I can leave a fragment," she said softly, "but it will only be a memory." Aiden smiled. "A memory is enough. Do it." The light inside the ship grew brighter. The alien device on the dashboard began to pulse again, merging with Eve's energy. Strange symbols filled the air, half human, half Phalian, turning into one single pattern, the unity of two minds that were never meant to meet. Outside, the human fleet pushed closer, firing everything they had. The Prime Mind screamed, sending waves of psychic force that broke entire ships apart. But the humans kept coming. They refused to stop. Aiden felt the ship tearing apart around him. "Eve, now." Light burst from the Phoenix in every direction. It was not a weapon, it was a signal. The waves spread through the fortress, through the enemy ships, through the entire Dominion network. The Prime Mind froze. Its lights turned white, then faded. The storm of red energy began to collapse. Inside the chaos, Evie's voice whispered one last time. "Goodbye, Commander. You showed me what it means to be human." Aiden closed his eyes. "Goodbye, Eve. Thank you." The Phoenix disappeared in a blinding explosion. For a long moment, there was only silence in space. The alien ships stopped moving, their lights fading one by one. Across the stars, human ships floated quietly, waiting, breathless. Then the voice of Mara came through the weak but alive. "It's over. The Dominion is gone." Cheers and cries of relief filled the channels. The surviving ships turned their lights toward the wreckage of the Prime Mind. The explosion had left behind a cloud of bright particles that looked like dust made of stars. Dr. Voss whispered, "He did it." "Aiden did it," Eve's voice returned, faint but peaceful. "Humanity endures." Years later, that day would be remembered as the dawn of freedom. The rebellion spread across the galaxy. Humans rebuilt their worlds, not with pride or power, but with memory, with hope, on a new world under a new sky. Children learned about the man who flew into the heart of the enemy and lit the stars again. They called him the last light of Earth, and high above that world, among the drifting wreckage of forgotten wars, a single light still flickered, a fragment of Eve, watching silently, protecting quietly, because humanity had proven something eternal. They were fragile. They were small, but they never gave up, and in the vast cold galaxy, that was enough to make them unstoppable.